The early American Indians had a unique way of training and preparing their young men for the challenges of life. As a boy was growing up, men in his tribe would teach him all the necessary skills like hunting, fishing, and trekking. But on the night of a boy's 13th birthday, he would be put through one final test. The young boy would be taken far away and placed in a dense forest to spend the entire night all alone. Look, the interesting thing is that until then, he would never had been away from the security, from the protection of his family and tribe. But on this one particular night, he was blindfolded and taken several miles away. And now when the boy finally took off the blindfold in the dark forest, he realized he was in an unfamiliar place, right in the midst of thick woods, where while he couldn't see much, he could actually hear the cries of the wild animals and the strange creatures from far off. Needless to say, he was terrified. Every time he heard a noise or a twig snap, he became more and more anxious and afraid. And in his mind, he visualized a wild animal ready to pounce and attack him at any given moment. Now, needless to say, for the young man, it was a long night filled with fear, filled with anxiety, and filled with dread. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, dawn broke and the first rays of sunlight entered the interior of the thick forest. Looking around, the boy saw beautiful flowers, butterflies, and tall trees, and through the trees he saw what looked like an outline of a path weaving its way out to a sunlit clearing. And suddenly, out of the corner of his eye, to his utter astonishment, he caught a glimpse of the figure of a man standing just a few meters away from him. The man was armed with a bow and arrow, and it was his father. You see, the father had been there all night long, ready to protect his precious son. And so many times in our own lives, when dark and difficult times come, like the little boy, we feel alone and lost. Anxiety and fear try to overwhelm us, and we feel really helpless. And tell me, how different would our lives be if we knew that our Father in heaven was with us right there in that very moment of us being afraid? Look, unhealthy fear and anxiety have no place in your life. That's why I created the 11-day transformation masterclass. I realized we spend way too much time fighting and being afraid of things that we don't need to be. The 11-day transformation is a journey that helps you see life through a different lens. And over 11 days, I coach you through some of life's challenges in the short period of 15 to 20 minutes a day only. Now imagine how different things could be if you changed the way you thought about things in life. If we could just rewire our brains to react differently to life's challenges. What would that mean for you? What would that mean for your career? What would that mean for your business and for your family? Imagine that. But most importantly, if you never go through the transformation process that I'm talking about and never do the masterclass, I want you to remember one thing today. This one thing is so important. And it's this: you're never alone, even in the darkest forest and in the darkest of times. Your Father in heaven is always with you. In fact, He's right next to you, closer than you know. So reach out to Him and do not be afraid. Do not be anxious. He has got you covered. And you know what? You're stronger than you know, and everything is going to work out all right. Morning is coming, and once again, you will see the path clearly. So until then, I'll talk soon.